Hey everybody, how's it going? Brezzy43 coming at you with another video here. I took a couple of days off there, I'm so sorry. I had to work this weekend and I enjoyed today off with my wonderful girlfriend. We had a nice relaxing day together, but I am back at it today with more competitive Pokemon. So we left off in the middle of our mini series for competitive Pokemon, explaining everything to do with competitive Pokemon, except now we are at the next part of the video, which is one of the most in-depth parts of competitive Pokemon. That's going to take a little bit of time for me to prepare. So we're going to get to that later this week. Today, it is currently midnight on the dot, actually, where I am. So we're going to just play some competitive matches on the ranked ladder, and we're going to see how it goes. This one thing that I personally need to work on a little bit is just getting in reps with playing as many games as I possibly can play. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about the team. So I'm going to jump over to Showdown here. And previously, I consulted my fellow team builder Ben, who helps me build a lot of my teams, and we were talking about things that were potentially good right now in the metagame, or that we suspected to be good. This was back on Friday the 11th. Friday the 11th, we were hanging out. We were discussing Pokemon, among other things, and we were talking about the Pokemon Colossal. So let me jump over to Showdown. For those of you that don't know the Pokemon Colossal, we are going to take a quick look at it. Colossal. So here it is. Colossal is a rock fire type, which for defensive purposes is a bit of a hit or miss, as you can see just based on its defensive typing here. It does have quite a few resistances. You resist normal fire 4 times, which means both rock and fire resist fire. You resist normal, you resist ice, poison, bug, flying, and fairy. However, rock and fire both share 2 weaknesses. Rock and fire are both weak to water and both weak to ground. So you have to be very careful not to have your Colossal get hit by a water or a ground move. But as you can tell from this Pokemon's stats, it has a very high HP stat, a very high defense stat, a good special defense stat, a very slow speed stat, and then relatively mediocre attack and special attack stats. So why is this thing good? What does this thing do? Well, Colossal has a very unique ability called Steam Engine. Steam Engine says that if this Pokemon gets hit with a water or a fire type move, it drastically raises its speed. Well, how much is drastically? It actually increases it by +6 stages, which is the equivalent of a ×4 multiplier. So this thing can get very, very fast if it gets hit with a water or a fire move. And you might be thinking, well, Brezzy, you just said that Colossal's weak to water 4 times. We don't want to hit it with any water moves. Well, more on that later. You can actually hit it with relatively weak water moves to help make sure that you don't deal it too much damage and get the Steam Engine going. So my buddy Ben and I were talking about a team, and we arrived at the below team. As you can see, this is where we last left it. We didn't get very far. We had some moves picked out for our Pokemon. We had some items picked out, but nothing really too much. So here's Colossal. Colossal actually has a Gigantamax form. So this is one of few Pokemon in the existence of competitive Pokemon right now in the Dynamax existence that have an alternate form called Gigantamax. Now, for all intents and purposes, Gigantamax is the exact same thing as Dynamax, with the exception of one of your Pokemon's, well, when you get a model change. So, excuse me, you may see that Colossal doesn't look like it did in the picture that I showed you here. It's slightly different. That's part of the Gigantamax model, or Gmax for short. But all Gmax Pokemon get an alternate, they get a move that gets changed. So normally, when you Dynamax your Pokemon, your moves get changed to Heat Wave would get changed to Max Flare, Meteor Beam being a rock move would be changed to Max Rockfall, etc., etc., etc. However, because this thing has a Gigantamax form, it means that its rock move gets changed to a move called G-Max Vocalith. So if you were curious where this information was, you could just go to G-Max Pokemon list, and you can pull up a list of every Gigantamax Pokemon, and you can see here they all are: Gmax, Gigantamax Snorlax, Gigantamax Charizard, Pikachu, Eevee, Butterfree, Meowth, Corviknight, Alchemy, etc. The list goes on and on and on. If you were to click on one of them, so here's Gigantamax Colossal, it would jump you down. Here he is. Gigantamax Colossal's max move is Gmax Vocalith. So how does this move work? Well, as you can see, it says this move continues to deal damage to opponents for 4 turns. This sets up a hazard, is what Pokemon players refer to it as. Singles players refer to it as, or singles players will think of hazards as spikes, toxic spikes, stealth rocks, things of this nature. This sets up Gmax Vocalith, which for 4 turns, your opponent's Pokemon take residual damage at the end of the turn. The residual damage is equal to 1/8 of their maximum HP. So as you can tell, that can start to, excuse me, I think it's actually 1/6, not 1/8. I think it's 1/6. Yeah, I think it's 1/6. So as you can tell, it can start to rack up really, really, really quickly. So how do you make this thing work? Well, historically, one of the best ways to make this thing work is by giving it a weakness policy. And it says if the holder is hit super effectively, it raises its attack and special attack stat by 2 stages, and you pair it with Dragapult. Dragapult learns the move Surf, and Dragapult being a physical dragon Pokemon won't hit it too hard, especially if you put a minus special attack nature like we talked about, and if you change the IV to 0. This is one of the few cases that I mentioned in my previous video where you would want a 0 IV special attack for Dragapult, because you want to hit this Colossal for the least amount of damage possible with your Surf. But Surf is a guaranteed way to get up your Steam Engine because the move can't be redirected, and it hits all the active Pokemon on the field. And it also hits our Steam Engine. So Dragapult is a very fast Pokemon, as you can see. It'll get Steam Engine going for Colossal, and it will get the weakness policy going, etc. Rillaboom has always been historically a very good grass-type Pokemon to switch to have on the same team as Colossal, because as we talked about, Colossal is weak to water and ground 4 times, which Rillaboom, being a mono grass-type, resists both of them. And then Urshifu Water is another good partner for Colossal. It allows you to Aqua Jet Colossal, which is a essentially quick attack for water type moves. And then we kind of got stuck. After we picked these 4 Pokemon, we started thinking about Zapdos because we wanted to have a fast Airstream user on the team that carries the Life Orb, which is one of the best offensive items you can use on your team. But from here, we kind of got stuck. We were thinking about, well, what are we missing on our team? What would we benefit from the most? What matchups are we bad against, etc., etc., etc. Well, I left the team here on Friday with my friend Ben, and while we were on our way home, or while I was on my way home, I got a notification on my phone from Reddit that mentioned the Players Cup 2 Grand Finals happening, and Mr. Wolf Glick using a Gmax Colossal team. Gmax Colossal team with these exact 4 Pokemon here. But instead of the Zapdos, I'll just show you his team. I actually pulled it up here. If you don't know who Wolf Glick is, you should check him out. You can check his YouTube channel, Wolfie VGC. He does an in-depth video with this, and he goes over some of his matches. I would rather have, he's going to do a better job of explaining the team than I am, since he's the one who built it. But this is Wolfie's team. He has a very bulky Dragapult that uses Light Screen and Will-O-Wisp, not Reflect, excuse me. Should be Surf. Breaking Swipe, Light Screen, Will-O-Wisp, and Surf to give a nice supporting package to Colossal. Here's the Colossal. Solar Beam is the coverage move for Colossal, which is really good. We'll talk more about EVs later, but these 180 EVs here, bringing your stat up to 73, this allows you to outspeed the fastest thing in the metagame right now, which is Venusaur and Sun, by 1 point. So this is once your Steam Engine's going, of course. Urshifu, the same set we were talking about. Rillaboom with Assault Vest, so it's extra tanky. Moltres Galar with Life Orb, and Incineroar. So this was his team. Incineroar makes a lot of sense to give you another bulky option that has Taunt to help you against the Trick Room matchups, and both Rillaboom and Incineroar have ways of pivoting, which we'll talk more about once we get into the games. So for this, for my team, I kept the Zapdos instead of the Moltres Galar because I felt like I wanted to have electric typing rather than a second dark type on my team. That's just something that I personally wanted to explore with. I know Wolf said in his video that he messed around with Zapdos, Thundurus, and Moltres Galar, and ended up settling on Moltres Galar to help with the Spectrier matchup. So let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm just going to pull back up my OBS here, and we'll get into some games. So I have the team built on my game here. Okay, sure. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this up, get this rolling. All right, connected to the internet. So we're gonna go to ranked battles. I'm somewhere in Masterball Tier. I don't really remember where. It looks like we left off at 4,256 with 12 wins and 7 losses. I'm sure this is going to fall because I haven't played in a while. Yeah, we fell 3,000 points because we haven't played in a while. So yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump. Here's our team with basically the same things as Wolf, with the exception of the Zapdos over the Moltres Galar. The main reason for this is because I have Moltres, my Moltres Galar that I caught is unique to a different team that I built, and I didn't want to change the spreads for it. So let's take a look. Our opponent is utilizing Metagross, Togekiss, Stakataka, Urshifu, which we don't know which variation it's using, Incineroar, and Tapu Fini. Okay, so right off the bat, I noticed that Colossal looks really good here. Colossal hits Togekiss, Incineroar, and Tapu Fini for super effective damage, but it does get and Metagross, but it does struggle a little bit with Stakataka, which I imagine we'll see a Follow Me Trick Room come out from my opponent right here. So, what do I want to lead into this? I think I want Colossal, but I have Taunt on my Incineroar. So I'm gonna actually. You play a little bit of a positioning game with this team. What do I want to go for? I could also lead Zapdos instead of Metagross, or I could actually go for a Zapdos mode instead of Colossal here. My opponent's probably going to bring Colossal, so this will be a nice sort of juke that we can run. And I think I'm going to bring these four. Urshifu is a really good cleanup Pokemon in the back. Zapdos plus Incineroar in the lead gives us a lot of options, and we're going to go ahead and just go with this. So, let's see. My opponent's probably going to lead either Metagross or Stakataka. I think it's Togekiss Stakataka here, but I could be wrong. Yes, it is Togekiss Stakataka. This is perfect. Okay, so we get the Intimidate down, which is fantastic. Okay, so it has an air balloon. That makes sense because it's 4 times weak to ground. So the question is if I want to Dynamax on turn 1. I think the answer is yes. We have Urshifu to help us deal with the Stakataka. So I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm expecting my opponent to go for Follow Me Trick Room here. So I'm going to go ahead and max Airstream the Togekiss, and then fake out the Stakataka just to ensure that Trick Room does not go up. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the max Airstream is really strong because it allows me to... Okay. Let's see. Okay, Incineroar of your own? Sure. That's fine. So let's see what my opponent opts to do. I'm imagining it's just going to be a Protect from the Togekiss, but I definitely could be wrong. But Incineroar on the field for my opponent actually means that he has 2 weaknesses to Urshifu. So when you competitively battle, it's really important to keep your end game in mind. And we want Urshifu to be playing cleanup for this team. So we're going to keep that in mind. He has 2 Pokemon weak to it right now. So this is Protect from Togekiss? Sure. That's fine. Okay. Max Airstream comes out. We get some damage off. Not terrible damage. Okay. So now my opponent's probably going to go for a fake out on his Incineroar into my Incineroar, and then let's see. He does not have a ground type. He does not have an electric resist on his side of the field. So I'm going to go ahead and just use Max Lightning from my Zapdos into the Togekiss slot, and then from there, I'm not entirely sure yet. I think I might switch my Incineroar out just to preserve that. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to do that. My opponent could switch in Stakataka here and then potentially be in a position to set up Trick Room, and I can't really stop it. Okay, they don't go for that. They don't go for Fake Out either. So we go ahead and we connect with Max Lightning. We pick up the KO. That's a nice KO. I'm expecting a parting shot here, actually, from the Incineroar. So we pick up the KO on the Togekiss. We use Flare Blitz first because we get that speed boost from our Zapdos. Should do a little bit of damage, not too much because of the Intimidate. And then Parting Shot. Okay, so my opponent can actually get Trick Room up here. So Stack Attack is most likely going to come in. I should have potentially gone for a Max Flare into the Stack Attacker slot. Okay, sure. So my opponent's going to sacrifice a bit of momentum here. Let's see. Okay, Metagross is the last Pokemon. Okay. Interesting. I did not expect to see Metagross. So my opponent has two options here. They could go for Protect on Metagross and set Trick Room with Stakataka, which is likely. The other option is they just Dynamax Metagross and go from there. I'm a little bit scared of my opponent having a weakness policy on their Metagross, so I don't think I want to hit it super effectively. I think alternatively, I can go for this play. Well, actually, my opponent can't really guarantee that Trick Room goes up, so I think I can just go for this play. If they Dynamax the Stakataka here, then most likely this is Dynamax Metagross and Protect. I should have thought about that, actually. I should have potentially gone for the Max Flare into the Stakataka. Yeah, I think they're going to Protect here. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. If they Protect here, they most likely will just to stall out our Dynamax. But it's not a big deal if they do. Yeah, okay. That was I could have made a better play that turn. I could have actually attacked the Stakataka with Max Flare to set up the Sun, and then Incineroar can come in, or Incineroar taunts here, and then next turn Sun is up for my opponents, for them to go for their Dynamax. So I think we're just gonna double the Metagross slot here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. My opponent's probably going to switch out their Stakataka. But if I had Sun Boosted Heat Wave and Flare Blitz coming in right now, that would have been a much better play from me. But my opponent has used their Dynamax, or has used one turn of their Dynamax. Also, important to note, my opponent does not have Assault Vest on their Metagross because they use Protect. Assault Vest would prevent them from doing that. So let's see. Not terrible damage. Is it Policy? It is Policy. That's a little bit scary. Let's see what we do. Let's see what happens from here. Flare Blitz should do a decent amount. Not terrible damage. We take that. Max Quake the Incineroar. Sure. This will KO. Incineroar is bulky, but +2 Metagross is very bulky as well. Okay, so one special defense boost. Body press, okay. That did way more damage than I thought it was going to. We resisted that. Okay. Okay, so Rillaboom comes out. We change the terrain. This is my opponent's last turn of Dynamax, and I think I just want to go for as much damage as I can. I think there's one turn left of the taunt. Yeah, there is one turn left of the taunt. Okay. So, Heat Wave. I think Grassy Glide does the most damage. Actually, I think we go Grassy Glide here into the... Yeah, let's go Grassy Glide here into the Stakataka. Okay. This is fine. We're still playing to an Urshifu endgame here, which is important. I could have protected the Zapdos, but I'm honestly not sure which one my opponent's going to go after. And I'm pretty confident that if they have Max Hailstorm from their... Oh, who dodged? Okay, we got the damage off on a Metagross. That's what matters. Max Lightning. Okay, gets Thunder Punch. Interesting. Okay, well, he changed the terrain, which is kind of annoying. Thunder Punch. Interesting. I did not expect Thunder Punch. I expected Ice Punch, but that's okay. Urshifu's in a pretty good spot here. My opponent's Dynamax is over. I think I have to protect my Urshifu here in fear of a Fake Out from the Incineroar. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It lets them switch potentially, which is kind of scary, but not the end of the world. And then we're gonna knock off the Incineroar here. We'll see if my opponent calls the turn correctly. Okay, we got it right. No protect from the Metagross. I knocked off their berry. And, okay, that was a huge turn for us, actually. We got the double. Okay. So I'm expecting my opponent to switch the Incineroar out here. But actually, I think that's fine for us if we do. So let's go ahead and do this. And let's go for a knockoff. Well, we actually don't want to do that. Surging Strikes here is good. Actually, we could just Surging Strikes this slot and then go for a knockoff into this one. Because the Metagross might... Like, the Metagross can't protect here. Okay. This should pick up the KO on Stakataka. I'd be very surprised if it did. If it didn't. Oh, it doesn't look like it's going to, actually. That actually might be pretty good for us if it doesn't. Iron Head, okay. Okay. Well, this is a pretty nice spot for us to be in. I think we have this game sealed up. We're gonna attack into the Sakataka. They can't protect because of Urshifu's ability. If they protect Metagross, that's fine. We still have the option. We still have our Focus Sash intact. Okay. This is the right play from them. They're trying to go for Trick Room. I wouldn't have protected if I was them, but this ensures that they don't get the double. That we don't get the double knockout. Okay. Okay, so As long as we continue to get to surging strikes, we'll be okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just protect here to ensure that we don't get faked out. Actually, is that... If we get faked out here, it's not a big deal because we know that Rillaboom's faster. Unless it was a speed tie. We outsped earlier in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and Surging Strikes here and knock off here. Okay. So we get the KO onto the Incineroar, and then next turn we get the KO onto the Metagross because we still have Focus Sash intact. So this is a good win. Focus Sash prevents our Pokemon from being picked up, or from being one-hit KO'd. Let's see if we would have been faster. Yeah, we were still faster that turn. Okay. Okay, so we go down to Focus Sash, no para. As long as we don't get paralyzed here, I think we're okay. Okay. Okay, so there shouldn't be any way that my opponent wins. We can Surging Strikes again and go for knockoff. And they can't protect this turn. Yeah, if they protect, Urshifu just attacks through protect. So this was a good win for us. I think we played that one well. The only thing I actually think it ended up working out for us that we did not get Sun set up because, as you can see, Urshifu was a very important part of our end game. And Urshifu is a water type, which if Sunny Day is up, if the sun is active, then we actually deal less. Water moves deal less damage. So it was good of us to have that. So the only play that I think I could have made a bit more optimally was the play that we protected with Urshifu, and then our opponent doubled into that slot was huge for us because he let our Rillaboom do whatever we wanted. I think it's correct of me to make that play. I also think it's correct of them to make me make that play, but I don't think that I think the big thing for them that they didn't anticipate was the taunt on Incineroar. So taunt preventing my opponent from being able to use any non-damaging moves prevented them from being able to set up Trick Room. So yeah, I think that was actually really good for us that we had taunt and that our opponent didn't know that we had taunt. Not all Incineroar run taunt, so that was definitely a good battle. We'll do a couple more right here. Okay. Let's see. Dusclops, Celesteela, Tapu Fini, Rhyperior, Metagross, and Incineroar. Okay. Well, Colossal looks fantastic here. But I don't know if I want to lead it. Colossal hits all of their Pokemon super effectively except for the Dusclops. So this is definitely a Colossal game. It also, like, Zapdos isn't too bad here. Because Zapdos also hits a lot of their Pokemon super effectively. I could see going for Zapdos again. So I think I'm actually going to lead Colossal, Dragapult, and then Rillaboom Urshifu. Does this leave me particularly weak to anything? I think my opponent will go for Trick Room. Okay. We can always plan accordingly here. We can always switch out our It's a pretty hostile game for the Rhyperior. Anyway, Dusclops and Metagross. Okay. Okay. So our opponent could switch in Tapu Fini. because they might be thinking about stopping the burn, but I have a feeling that they're going to go for turn 1 protect. We can't stop Trick Room from going up with this lead unless we attack the Dusclops, but it's really risky for us if we don't pick up the KO and then Dusclops gets up Trick Room. So I think to be safe, actually, I think I'm gonna do it. I don't know if it's the most optimal play, but I'm gonna make the play. Let's see. Okay, no switches for my opponent. They Dynamax their Metagross. It could be just a max guard from Metagross, but if it could also be a ground move, which wouldn't be the best for us, but it wouldn't be like it would. I think we would probably lose if that were the case, but I don't know how you don't max guard here if you're my opponent, because there's a lot of things on my side of the field that can be scary for you, like a max flare from my Colossal, and also like a Will-O-Wisp from my Dragapult. So both of those things can be like a little bit scary. But Dusclops could also go for Ally Switch, which would be kind of annoying. That would be really annoying, actually. I really hope that... Oh, Shadow Sneak. Okay. So it's Weakness Policy Metagross. So we get up the rocks here, which is a big deal. Okay. So we are going to lose our Colossal here, but we are going to get... we are going to probably pick up the KO on Dusclops, and then we are going to get the Vocalith chip damage going like we talked about. Wow, that didn't KO. Interesting. Okay, this will KO for sure. Yep. I was expecting this to KO the Dusclops. That's kind of unfortunate that it didn't. I think we might lose here. I didn't expect the Shadow Sneak. It's a little bit risky unless they knew that their Metagross lived +2 max flare. But also I could have just burned the Dragapult, which maybe I should have gone for. That was what I wanted to do, and maybe I should have just gone for that play. Okay. So there's no way my opponent switches in Tapu Fini here, right? It'd be pretty risky if they did. So we're going to make this play. I guess it's not super risky, but they do take a little bit of extra chip damage on their... They take a good amount of damage on their Fini. But maybe they make this play. I could have just burned the Metagross turn 1, and then what does my opponent do? Then they're in some serious trouble. I guess I should have just made that play. Or I could do a quick calc here. Okay, no switch from my opponent. Good deal. Let's make sure that... Let's hope that burn hits. Oh, we missed. That's... Wow. That's probably the game now for sure, if it wasn't already. This KO's for sure. Yeah, that was super unfortunate. We did not want to miss that. That was bad. Now he gets to... Now if he has Fini, he brings in Fini. Yeah, that was super unfortunate. I'm doing a calc here quick just on base Metagross. Let's see. Okay, no Fini. At least not at the moment. I'm going to Surging Strikes here just in case they switch into Fini. which they're likely to do. Let's say it is like max bulk. Yeah, so Metagross dies. Metagross dies to max flare from Colossal, so I guess they just made the big brain play of saying, okay, there's no way that you're going to let me do this, so, or there's no way you're not targeting Dusclops here and going for the max flare. I think we made the right play there because, okay, this is fine. Oh, into Dragapult, interesting. Yeah, because if we, okay, Leech Seed comes out, sure. Hail Chip. Metagross is chipped by the hail. Yeah, because if maybe they just made that play of like I don't regret targeting the Dusclops. I just like I think what I should have probably done is just switched into Rillaboom and burned the Metagross. But like it's pretty likely that they go for turn 1 max guard the Metagross and then turn 1 max guard Metagross and or just protect Metagross. Probably just protect because we could have activated their own weakness policy with max flare there. So that was kind of weird from my opponent's side of things. I think I want to go here and then set up a light screen. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. This game is not technically over until we actually die. Urshifu is still the fastest thing on the field, and the Celesteela having light screen makes me think maybe it's a bulky variant. And so if we can get up light screen, we might be in okay shape. So light screen comes up. It's only bad for us if our opponent has Tapu Fini in the back. If they have Tapu Fini in the back, we can't win this. But them not switching it in earlier after we Will-O-Wisp makes me think that maybe they don't. Okay, this is not going to KO. I actually thought this might KO. It doesn't look like it's going to. It looks like it's going to be just short. So now they're going to attack the maybe Metagross Earthquakes. Interesting. This might pick up the double KO. No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so we get Hail Chipped. Metagross gets Hail Chipped and Burn Chipped. What's their last Pokemon? So as you can see, the residual damage from our moves is really good. It's really good. And then he gets the Leech Seed recovery as well. It's not looking great. Okay, we lose for sure now. I can't believe they just let their Metagross get burned like that. Tapu Fini completely walls Urshifu, so we can't go for anything here. So we're gonna go ahead and just give up. We'll do one more battle here. Tapu Fini is a water fairy type, which resists both fighting and water. I'm just really confused why they left it in the back for so long. When it would have been so much more beneficial for them to just like switch it in and prevent the burn, and like Celesteela doesn't take half HP that way. And yeah, I don't know. A couple of questionable decisions there on my part of like trying to make a read, but like also I did not expect Fini in the back, but because Fini was in the back, we lose automatically. So things that I could have done differently there. The turn 1 lead from my opponent was really tough for me to predict. They could have gone for Protect on Metagross, Trick Room. They could have made the play that they made, which was Shadow Sneak and Weakness Policy. They could have switched Metagross and Trick Roomed on Dusclops, and because that they found out that Dusclops actually survives a +2 Gmax Vocalith from Colossal, they could have actually just gone for Trick Room and Dynamax and attacked with Metagross and made the same play. But Protect plus Trick Room would have been the scariest thing for me because we would have activated their weakness policy for them, and then they would have also got Trick Room up. So that was something that was a little bit like maybe I should have led the other mode. Maybe I should have brought the Zapdos mode because my opponent actually brought 3 Pokemon that were weak to Zapdos. So maybe that's what I should have done instead. I could have led Incineroar plus Zapdos and then taunted the Dusclops and attacked with the Zapdos. So, or switched and done something else. I could have led Dragapult Incineroar actually and gone for the damage mitigation route, but that's okay. We are here. Last game here we'll do for today. Interesting team for my opponent. So a Nidoking, Regieleki, Dracovish, Galarian Articuno, Kartana, and Blacephalon. Okay. So my opponent's team is pretty weak to Colossal. I'm a little bit scared of the Nidoking just because Nidoking is a ground type that hits my Colossal super effectively. And Blacephalon is a little bit scary as well because it can pressure my Dragapult potentially too. So what do I want to go for now? I think that Urshifu lines up pretty well against my opponent. Zapdos actually is pretty decent as well. I have to be careful about leading Incineroar into Articuno because of the G-Max or the competitive boost. So I'm gonna go for the Colossal. I could just go for the Urshifu in the front, but I think I'm actually gonna lead Dragapult, Rillaboom, and Urshifu. Blacephalon is either Choice Scarf or Focus Sash, and it's going to probably go for like a Mind Blown or something, or pressure my Dragapult. So I actually don't know my Blacephalon calcs for Dragapult. I'm assuming that they're leading Blacephalon here. Let's see. Blacephalon, Regieleki. Okay. So this is a pretty threatening lead to my... Okay. I'm expecting an attack into my Dragapult here. So I'm going to switch my Colossal into Rillaboom and then try to get up a light screen and see if I can survive that. See if I can survive the damage and get up a light screen. If it's not Choice Scarf Blacephalon, then we outspeed. But we don't outspeed Regieleki, so let's see what happens here. Really interesting. Okay, light screen from Regieleki, sure. Okay, so it's not faster than Regieleki. Does it move next? It does. I don't know if this KOs. I'm unsure. It looks like it does. Okay. Okay, so it's locked into Shadow Ball right now. I did not know that was going to KO. I guess I probably could have inferred that it would have. Dragapult's... we have a bulky spread, but Dragapult's not that bulky, and Blacephalon's got a pretty high attack stat. So what do I want to do here? Rillaboom is the slowest thing on the field for sure, and if we're assuming that this thing is Choice Scarf, which I think it is, it's locked into Shadow Ball. So I'm actually going to go ahead and U-turn here and then Protect on my Colossal. This fake out would have been good too. My opponent could be thinking about fake out. Doesn't look like they're gonna go. Doesn't look like they were playing around fake out. So let's see. Volt switch. Okay, we locked him in. That's pretty good. Shadow ball. Okay. So we get the free U-turn here into the Regieleki. Good damage. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and Aqua Jet our Colossal. Dynamax, Gmax Vocalith. Get the damage going here. What does my opponent have in the back? Okay. So let's go ahead and go back. Aqua Jet, Colossal, Gmax Vocalith, Blacephalon. We know that it's Scarf. We know that we outspeed. We know that we will outspeed the Blacephalon, but we will not outspeed the Regieleki. Regieleki, depending on how much speed's in it, but I'm guessing that they're pretty heavily invested in speed. Let's find out. We didn't get Light Screen up with Dragapult, which was really unfortunate. Let's see. Aqua Jet comes out. How much does it deal? We crit. Are you kidding me? We crit our. That's the risk you run, I guess. Is if you're. That's really unfortunate. If you're attacking your own Pokemon, then you run the risk of critting them, and that's exactly what just happened. So we just dealt half HP to our... okay, this is good information to have, actually. So this should pick up the KO, get the rocks going. I'm guessing this is a Volt Switch into my Urshifu. Oh, it's Electro Web. Okay, so he's going to drop our speed. Okay, the rock damage gets going. I'm going to switch out my... I got to check my terrain turns here quick and see... the critical hit, I don't know if it's going to matter yet or not, but it's really unfortunate if it does. Articuno. Interesting. My opponent, did they have any terrain on their team? They did not. My guess is it's Dracovish in the back. So Rillaboom actually helps out against both of these Pokemon. So I'm actually going to just Aqua Jet the Regieleki. I'm not sure how much this will do. How many turns left of my terrain? 2? Okay. So we could actually... Yeah, I'm expecting Articuno to probably max here. So I'm just going to go ahead and Vocalith again. Yep, Dynamax Articuno. Is it going for a Protect? There's no way that it'll live this. Well, it might actually. It is in Light Screen. And Articuno is like decently bulky. I don't know. I don't know what the calc is for this. We're gonna find out. No max guard. Aqua Jet comes out. Do we get the KO? No, not even close. Okay. Electro Web comes out. Urshifu goes down. I don't think that we're actually slower. I think we're still faster. Yep. How much does this do? Light Screen reduces our damage a bit. Okay. Well, we'll go down to the chip here. Oh, it is Policy? Interesting. Oh, Airstream. We might live this. No, we don't. Okay, we did resist it, but... okay. So Colossal does go down. We do still have several turns left of our chip, of our sand chip, but unfortunately for us, our terrain's going to go down here. We have 1 turn left of terrain, so we didn't manage to get our Pokemon into... Oh, come on. All right. Well, Rillaboom's going to come in. We're going to fake out the Articuno. And unfortunately, like I said, our terrain's going to end this turn. We still have 2 turns left of chip, and they have multiple turns left of light screen. So we're going to go ahead and just go for fake out into Articuno here. Fake out should pick up the KO. Yep, okay. So they did get a speed boost on their Pokemon, but I'm confident, I'm not confident actually for sure, but I think Regieleki should go down to, okay, well, Reflect is a little bit unfortunate. Let's see. It should go down here. If it doesn't, it's a little bit, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so the grass is over. If this is Dracovish, I think we're in trouble. If it's Nidoking, we're also in trouble, but okay, it is Nidoking. So this thing has Ice Beam. We are Assault Vest. Maybe we take 1. We have 1 turn left of chip, I believe. Yep. So I think I have to go for knockoff. Grassy Glide does more damage because it's stab boosted, but well, maybe I don't. He did get the Reflect up. Let's go for Grassy Glide. I think this thing is carrying the Life Orb, so yeah, let's go ahead and just go for Grassy Glide. Electroweb comes out. We are Assault Vest. I don't know how much Ice Beam's going to do. Oh, it's Sludge Bomb. Okay, that makes sense. That's actually more damage. Does it KO? Nope, we live. How much? Not enough. Okay, yeah, we lose. So it's really difficult for me to know for sure what would have happened there if we did not get critical hit. If we didn't crit our own Colossal. We actually probably would have lived the max airstream from the... my opponent's... for my opponent's Articuno, and we would have still had a G-Max Colossal in play for another turn. But because of the Reflect and it's faster than us as well because of the speed drop, we can't win this game, unfortunately. So if we had I'm trying to think, there was 2 things there that happened in that battle that I think could have potentially been different. One is obviously if we don't crit our own Colossal, but that aside, I think we might have been able to manage our grassy terrain turns a bit better. Maybe we don't switch your Shifu in right away. Because then we can if we still had grassy terrain there, we might have actually won. Because grassy terrain allows our grass moves to deal more damage and gives Grassy Glide priority. So that means that we get to Grassy Glide our opponent's Nidoking for priority damage. And potentially, like, that could make a big difference because we get to attack first that way. Alternatively, I saved the Rillaboom instead of the Urshifu, which could have potentially done something different. I don't know for sure. But it's difficult to say for sure. Obviously, the critical hit mattered a lot, as we found out. Our opponent didn't bring any really good way to pressure the Colossal. Also, I don't know if leading Dragapult was a good idea, seeing the Blacephalon. It was almost guaranteed that Blacephalon was going to come to that battle, so it's difficult for me to say for sure. But yeah, that I think is most of what went wrong in that game. Was we lost Dragapult right away. If we had led something a little bit different, we might have been able to actually do something else. Like if we had led Urshifu Colossal, we could have got up the Vocalith right away, potentially knocking out the Regieleki or even the Blacephalon. We could have also like brought Incineroar and gotten Intimidate going and additional fake out pressure instead of the Dragapult. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can lead with this team, and there's a lot of different things you can do with this team. And it's really difficult for me to like. I'm still learning a lot of the interactions and a lot of the little things that you do with this team that give you that allow you to play most optimally. I'm pretty inexperienced playing Colossal, but I like the challenge and I enjoy it. And it's a really powerful team, as you can see. The chip damage you get from Colossal's ability is really strong. So I obviously have a lot to learn about it, but thanks so much for hanging out. If you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. Also, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to get some feedback on this. Like I said, it's a really fun team, really powerful team. Has a lot of different things you can do with it. It's very dynamic, and as you can see, I'm still learning a lot of what is optimal. And there's a lot of different things you can look back on in a Pokemon battle and reflect on and say, okay, maybe I should have done this differently or this differently. So yeah, thanks again for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys next time.